rolling as I am excited to just talk tonight. This is going to be a night where I'm going to ask you all some questions. I'm going to have you all write some questions down and engage with me in the chats, because I think that it's important as we all, of course, as opposed to, or excluding Leslie. Leslie, I see you're driving, so please do not comment in the chats. We see you and love you, but
Kane said,
it's a priority.
Everybody but Leslie, don't take notes.
That's right. That's right. Everybody but Leslie. But guys, it's been an exciting week. This is an exciting time of year, but I think it's important right now that we all just take some inventory and we all just ask ourselves some questions. I think there's so much power in seeing where we're at as a group, seeing where we're at as individuals. And so we're gonna kind of go through this. And like I said, interactive, commenting in the chats, being honest wherever you're at. Because as I commented in the post for this call, who sometimes, if we're being really honest, who sometimes feels like this business can be just a little bit hard? Anybody? Who feels maybe like sometimes this can be a little bit overwhelming? Okay. Who feels like maybe it can be just a little bit confusing? Okay. Kate and Jake said yes, of course. Wonderful. So here's what I've learned over the years, and I'm just going to take this time to share with you all what I've learned in doing this for 6.5 years, is that it doesn't have to feel that way. So if you're taking notes right now, I want you to write down first that this doesn't have to be hard. Okay? I am such a believer that we are a living proof of the stories that we choose to accept in our lives. Would you all agree? If you believe that you're not a morning person, guess what? You're probably not going to be a morning person. If you keep speaking out that you hate working out, let me guess, you're probably not going to enjoy going to the gym and lifting weights or running on the treadmill, right? If you say you're not a people person, my guess is that you're not really going to be confident when connecting with other people, because that's a story and a narrative that you've accepted as your reality. And in all areas of life, I think it's so important that we are so protective of the stories that we accept into our lives when it comes to how we relate with other people, when it comes to how we relate with ourselves, when it comes to how we do business, do life. What stories are we accepting on a daily basis right now? What are some stories? Comment some stories that you've heard other people say this past week. What are some stories that you hear? A classic one is the Monday blues, right? Oh, Monday is terrible. Comment in the chats. What are some stories that you hear people say just in the world, in the daily life? What are some stories that people just, and everybody either accepts them as true, or somebody maybe told you, hey, by the way, I love that, Rebecca, 2020 is the worst year. Let's just pause right there and reflect on that, because I've heard that more times, I think, than any other story maybe that's been projected this year. Has anybody else heard that? Okay, I have heard that so many times. Rebecca, that's a wonderful one. 2020 sucks. I could never do that. Others can do it, but it's not for me. Absolutely. So all of these stories, and we're seeing this now more than ever, that people who are receiving that 2020 is the worst year ever probably are having some more challenges maybe than other people who are a little bit more optimistic. And so with that, I want to ask us a couple of questions tonight and have us all just reflect on them. Everybody's answer is going to be different. That's how it should be for the most part. But if nothing else, hopefully this can just instigate and allow us to move into a state of more ease. Let me just say this right now. This world and this country is experiencing such an unparalleled amount of chaos right now, of unrest, of a lack of peace, of a lack of unity. We're experiencing this on a daily and minute-by-minute basis, where you hop on social media and there's never been more division. You walk into a grocery store or whatever, and there's never been more division. So what it would look like if we operated as people of clarity, we operated as people of simplicity, we operated as people who were giving hope, and not this false optimistic, hey brother, it's all gonna be okay, but truly walked in an optimistic spirit, a spirit of excellence. How much would that just differentiate ourselves from the people that we're interacting with on a daily basis? Listen, you want to stand out in this world right now? Be somebody that doesn't agree with the narrative that 2020 is the worst year ever. Be somebody that lives that out. It's not to diminish, listen, hear me. It's not to diminish that which we're going through right now at all in any way. It's not to lack empathy for those maybe who have truly had some heartbreak in their world. Absolutely not. But if we know and we first acknowledge that we are all a product of the stories that we believe, then if we're saying this is the worst year ever, what is going to take place? And what makes us believe that anything's going to change that going forward? And before we know it, it's going to be February of 2021. And we're going to be like, you know what? This year's just bleeding into, in from last year. I just can't believe it. I guess we're just going to keep rolling. And it's going to be a self-perpetuating cycle. So when it comes to your Isagenix business, because that wasn't so much about Isagenix, but when it comes to your Isagenix business, I want you to ask yourself, what are you trying to accomplish? Write that down. Because we can spin our wheels. How to connect. James, how do I connect? How do I follow up? How do I get people on phone calls? How do I invite to events? How do I do this? How do I do that? But if we never answer the question, what am I trying to accomplish? Then that will cause instantly so much confusion because we don't even have an end goal of saying, okay, this is the end result that we're trying to get to. Are you guys following me so far? So comment in the chats when it comes to your Isagenix business right now. What are you trying to accomplish? When it comes to your connections, when it comes to these people, everybody on this line, you're building something. You're taking time out of your Sunday night. I really want you to all engage and think about this just for 1 minute in your world, wherever you're at, in your room, wherever. What is it that you're wanting to accomplish? I'm not going to breeze over this question because it's very important. Casting the vision of freedom. Love that, Marvell. Who else? What are we trying to accomplish? Because guys, we can go and we can work. Who has worked ever just for the sake of work? You ever feel like sometimes you're just working for the sake of work? Anybody in a past job, a past occupation, not Isagenix, of course, but past occupation, something like that, you're just working for the sake of work. Consistently in the daily routine, consistent growth, personally, business, life. Give people hope in health and income. Build a community of like-minded women. I want to become a leader who can lead others into health and freedom financially and otherwise. I'm wanting to sow seeds now that I will reap later. Simplicity and sharing the vision. Beautiful. All of these are beautiful. I want you to even digest this and ask yourself this in an even more elongated time after the call. But we first have to ask, what are we trying to accomplish? The second question, and so that's kind of the overarching, okay? In all that we're doing in Isagenix, we have to ask ourselves, what are we trying to accomplish? Listen, if I go to the gym tomorrow morning and I see the lady at the front desk and what I'm trying to accomplish is enroll someone. That's it. I'm trying to get someone. You hear that terminology. I can't stand that terminology. We don't get people. We don't have people. We don't do that. But if I'm going in and my mindset is, I want to enroll someone. That's what I'm trying to accomplish. Then do you think that the way I go about interacting with this beautiful lady that's sitting behind the desk is going to be a little bit different than if my objective and what I was trying to accomplish was just to see where she was at in her world and to see if there was any pain or discomfort in her life that I might be able to service a solution to? Do you think that energy, do you think that tone, do you think that clothes or whatever it is might be just a little bit different based off of those two interactions, based off of those two outcomes that I'm looking to get? Of course. And sometimes we can go into these connections and we can think we're getting people, whether you're going for double PIBs, whether you've got a new business person that's getting rolling and you really want them to see it. You really want them to get Crystal Executive and to see this grand vision. So maybe you can have a 1-star, 2-star, 3-star on your team. And we forget to ask ourselves the question, wait, what am I trying to accomplish? What am I truly trying to accomplish? For me, what I'm trying to accomplish, what Aud is trying to accomplish, we're trying to build up and service and empower people from all different walks of life to live a life that they previously thought not possible because of the community, the support, the purified nutrition and pay plan that would all service their life to whatever level they wanted to. And so in that, even if people tell me no, even if people send their products back, even if people, say that what I'm doing is a joke or whatever, as we've all heard, that doesn't sway me, you guys, because I'm not trying to accomplish getting someone, okay? So let's move into these 6 questions that as we have answered and as you all continue to digest and answer that in your own time of what are we trying to accomplish, I want us to think of these 6 things, because in what we're trying to accomplish, there's some practicalities. There's things that we must do. If we're wanting to grow a business, there's activity that we need to take on a daily basis. So here are 6 questions that I just want to send over to you guys and have you answer tonight. The first one is, am I plugging in? Am I plugging in? And then right below that, I want you to write, am I really plugging in? You guys ever hear the whole phrase, going through the motions, right? You can go to the gym. Listen, I can go into the gym an hour a day and I can do nothing. And everyone's like, man, James, we see you in here all the time, man. You're always in your workout clothes. You got your headphones on. You're like on the treadmill, walking at a slow pace, but whatever. I can go in there and go through the motions. I can go and have conversations with people in the grocery store. I can have conversations with people on Facebook or whatever and just be going through the motions. I can go on Freedom Living Team or the product page and just look through posts, not engage, not post, not contribute, and just go through the motions and tell myself at the end of the day, yeah, James, I'm plugging in. Now, to each of these questions, here's what I should have prefaced this whole entire thing with. You don't need to disclose any of your answers with however you feel, but this is going to require radical responsibility and radical honesty on all of our parts, because you and you alone are going to know at the end of the day if we're really doing these things or not, right? Dom doesn't need to come to me and say, hey, James, by the way, I'm doing all of these things. That's great. That's fine. He can do that if he would like to. But at the end of the day, if Dom's really wanting a better life and a better future for himself, it's going to require him showing up for himself, whether I'm there or not, right? And so with these, it's just a matter of saying, okay, am I showing up? Am I really plugging in? Am I really plugging in to the resources? If we could all mute our lines, that would be wonderful. Boom, there we go. Am I really, really plugging in? The second question that I would have us all ask is, am I using the tools? Now, why do I say this? I'm going to get to it in a little bit, but we go to work to make this challenging. And right now with Isagenix 2.0, there has never been a more effective time that we were able to build this business. I truly mean that. In the beginning, you guys, when I started this back in 2014, we had like 1 video and it was cheesy as all get out. I was like, but I sent it and people got excited and I was enthusiastic and we rolled with it. I had no organizational skills whatsoever, nor did we have anything like Penny to make connecting, following up, the customer experience, like streamlined whatsoever. I think I may even have my first notebook somewhere around here, pages torn out, scribbles crossed through. I'm sure everybody has a notebook or 5 like that. And here we are with so many resources and so many tools, but are we using them? There you go, Dom, you got all those notebooks. Are we using the tools? And then as a little subsect for that is, am I sharing my story beneath the tools? Now, why is that a subset of the tools? Because you guys, your story is the best tool ever, ever. Isagenix can come out with the perfect 3-minute video that explains all of this, has amazing imagery, has amazing messaging, all of this stuff. But let me tell you what, they are going to buy from Becca because of her story. They're going to buy from you because of your conviction, because of your enthusiasm, because of your emotional response to what these products in this community, in this financial opportunity has done for you. Would you guys agree? They buy you. And so in that, reflect on the past couple of weeks. Are you really sharing your story with emotion? Are you really sharing, do you really remember what it was like before Isagenix was in your life? Take a second. Do you really remember or have you forgotten? Have you forgotten how terrible you felt before you had an Isoline shake in your life every single day? before you had Ionic Supreme, before you knew anything about intermittent fasting and cleansing your body from all those toxins that we've been living in. Have we forgotten that? And in that, has it kind of just watered down our story a little bit? Or maybe we're just saying, hey, you know what? I drink these shakes, they're really great. You should do this too. And like, that's it, right? Now I'm saying this, you guys, because I've done this countless number of times where I'm like, that wasn't your story. You didn't lock into that. You didn't engage with really what made your story so unique. Not everybody has to have the same type of story that you do, but as long as you can tie in what was and now what has been able to, transpire in your life because of this gift of Isagenix, as long as that's communicated in a way that's authentic and I'm sorry, storytelling is emotional. In an emotional way, it doesn't mean you have to cry every time you share your story by any means, but that it evokes either some excitement, some hope, some enthusiasm, some gratitude, where that person across from you goes, man, this person has truly had an experience with these products. Are you sharing your story? Really? And not just like hey, I use these products, they've been really good. If that counts as a story for you, I just want to ask you to reassess that. Your story. And if you've gone and you've connected with people and you haven't really done them justice and saying, hey, I haven't really given you my full story, might I encourage you to reach out to them and say, hey, listen, I know I shared with you Isagenix and just kind of told you that I was using it, but it's really impacted my life. Would you mind if I just shared with you how it's changed my life? And practice sharing your story. That's the second question. The third question I want you all to ask is, am I structuring this into my day? Am I structuring this into my day? Are you structuring it, or are you just doing it if it's convenient? If you get done it with a day and you're like, oh man, it's 6 p.m. I've got an hour or 30 minutes or 10 minutes that I could connect. This is great. This is convenient. I can work today. And it just is a third, fourth, fifth priority that if all of these other things take place, then you get to Isagenix? Or is it something that you say, hey, today and every day, this next week, for 30 minutes, for 15 minutes, for 20 minutes, for an hour, I'm gonna lock in, and I'm gonna get on Penny, I'm gonna get on Facebook, I'm gonna engage, I'm gonna bring value, I'm gonna connect, and I'm gonna follow up, and I'm gonna help my customers. Are you creating a structure? Because for me, you guys, in the beginning, I didn't have any structure. This ran my life. This ran every second of every day for me, from the moment I woke up to the time I went to bed. One, because I had no boundaries when it came to my cell phone or my computer. It was just all on. It was full force, which, I had to learn the hard way was not the way to do life. But I didn't structure it. And so my encouragement to you is, if you haven't structured it, that's going to be a reason this feels confusing. This feels overwhelming. That right there, that alone is going to be one of the biggest proponents to why maybe you're feeling or have felt a reason or a way in the past that you have, that this business is anything other than fun and life-giving and collaborative and growing, right? So structure it in. And if you haven't structured it in, why not? Why not? If it's important and this is really a lifestyle that you're truly wanting, listen, we set aside time for the relationships we care most about. We set aside time for the things that are most important to us, a lot of which is maybe exercising or taking the time to go to the grocery store and buy some healthy foods that are going to fuel our body along with the Isagenix system. We take time. Not only that, we schedule it so that when something else comes in, trying to infiltrate that sacred space, if you will, we say, no, this is my workout time. I'll hit you up right after I work out. There's so many times where I'm in the gym and I get a phone call. I say, hey, I'm in the gym, I'm lifting. I'll call you back in 30. I got to get this in. Because there was too many days where I would take calls during workouts. I would let that just infiltrate my time. And then before you know it, I didn't have any time to myself. I wasn't pouring it to myself. So are you structuring this? Do you know where you're most effective in your day? And again, that's going to look different for everybody. We've got to answer these questions. You guys were running a business. We've got to answer these questions. And this wasn't necessarily something that you learned in business school. Maybe you heard on a Super Saturday. Maybe this isn't, something you've heard yet. That's okay. You're hearing it now. And now we can take action on that. The fourth question, this is kind of what I just alluded to. Am I pouring into myself first? Am I pouring into myself first? Now, this is tough. This one is tough. Why? Because it's so easy to focus on everybody else but yourself, isn't it? When you're helping other people, there's a reason why you're in an airplane. It says, put on your own mask before helping others. And we think that's just a little TSA thing, but little did we know how much paralleled, application that actually had to our daily life. Are you actively pouring into yourself first every day? Now that could look different for everybody, and I hope that it does. That's completely fine. But this business will become not only incredibly hard, but you will become so frustrated with people. You will become so short with people. You're gonna get, it's exhausting when you're not pouring into yourself first. I've committed to 90 minutes of reading or podcast every single day. And let me just tell you something. If you're wanting to do this business big, and you're wanting to grow a large organization, and you're wanting to connect with a lot of people, and you're wanting to hear a lot of no's and go for the rank advancements, you have got to be pouring in an immense amount of knowledge, encouragement, positive things. You have to be, hear me, you have to be. Or this will become so frustrating for you, because it has for me. And I'll sit there and scratch my head and say, why is this so frustrating for me? Why are people just driving me nuts right now? And I'll realize that for the past month, I've done nothing. I've done nothing to build myself. I've done nothing to pour into myself and give James life. And that's so important for Ellen, for Lauren, for Kayla, for Chelsea, for Kim, for Marbell, for Derek. It's important for all of us to do that. We must protect that time. Are you pouring into yourself? It can be through music. It can be through, somebody that you like, Ed Milet, Lewis House, Tony Robbins, a pastor, whatever it is. And here's what comes along with that. You listen to it for a day, right? And you make something really inspirational on Instagram and you're like, woo, got an awesome quote. This is sweet. And you post it on Instagram and you're like, that felt really good. And then what happens? The day after, you're like, I don't need that. I got it yesterday. This is good. We cannot live off of the success of yesterday. We cannot live off the success of yesterday. We take showers every day. We eat every day. We drink every day. We must be pouring into our spirits and our minds every single day. And I can almost guarantee that if there's anybody on this line or watching this recording that has experienced any overwhelm, any frustration, any confusion about their business, this is going to be one of the leading factors to that. It is. So are you pouring into yourself? Next question I want you to ask. Am I people dependent or am I systems dependent? Am I people dependent or am I systems dependent? You guys, we are running a business. Yes. But one of the beautiful parts about this is that we're running network marketing, which is great. Why? Because we get to service so many more people if we do what? Duplicate. Now, I cannot duplicate myself. Odd cannot duplicate herself. Joni cannot duplicate herself. Alicia cannot duplicate herself. We cannot duplicate ourselves. So when you're asking yourself these questions, am I helping my people that I'm bringing into Isagenix become people dependent? Are they becoming dependent on me, where if I'm not there to answer a text or a phone call, they're just a lost sheep and they're like, well, I guess I can't do anything. I'm just going to wait. Or are we causing them and forcing them to be people dependent? If somebody has a product question and they can't get in touch with you, are they going to instinctually go, well, you know what? Joni plugged me into a Freedom Living Team product page. I bet I could go ask my question there and get my answer within 5 minutes. That's a system dependent person. And what that allows is for so much more growth in your organization where you don't have to be 20,000 people's personal assistant, right? So in all of the activities that we're taking on a daily basis, are we guiding people to becoming people dependent, or are we guiding people to become system dependent? Now, if somebody says, hey, what's in the, can you tell me about the stevia and the shakes? There's two ways to answer this. I can come and say, yes, let me tell you about this, and write out a 3-paragraph novel about the sugar in the shakes, or, the Vitamers that have just come out, right? Or I could say, hey, you can find all the questions, all the answers to your questions at isogenicshealth.net. We're helping people become resourceful, utilizing these resources. These resources don't mean anything if we don't use them, right? So of course, it could feel really good and maybe seem easier for me to flick a 15-second text that says, hey, let me just tell you about this, yada, 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 yada. But in the end, what I've just done is I've shown this person that they have to be an expert about the nutrition if they want to have a multiple six-figure income. And that's just not the truth. And so this next week, fight that urge. If somebody comes to you and says, hey, can you walk me through a cleanse day? I have questions about a cleanse day. Say, absolutely, absolutely, I'd love to help you. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna send you a video that walks you through how to do a cleanse day, and then I want you to text me, and I wanna see if you have any other questions after that. Does that sound good? Because you guys, that's a 3-minute video, and it walks them through everything about a cleanse day. And my guess is, at the end of that video, they may have 1 or 2 questions that shouldn't take any more than 120 seconds for you to answer. How much time not only did that save, but you just taught that person to go and find the resources themselves. That makes sense? Okay, so the last question is, am I truly taking consistent action on these things above? Am I truly taking action on these things listed above? Guys, we're living in a world right now where there are a lot of people that have been talking for a long time about making a change, about starting to have different habits, about starting to save more in different ways, about starting to emit new activity in their life. There have been people that have just been talking about it for a long time. And there are those that are actually taking action. And I believe everybody on this call is actually taking action towards the goals that you are saying that you want. But this is something that's so important to keep in front of us on a daily basis, because it's so easy to do something for one day, right? It's so easy to do something for one day. But what about in 3 weeks, in 3 years, when that person who's yet to say yes, they want to find somebody doing isogenics, and they remembered that you did it. But what if in 3 years you've hung up the towel and you said, you know what, people were too frustrating for me. I wasn't pouring into myself enough and it just got too hard. Or I wasn't structuring it in my day. It became too overwhelming. I felt like it was just burying me and all this stuff. I thought it could be easy, and I just never made the time for it to really become easy. And they reach out and they see that you're no longer doing it, so they go and enroll with somebody else. These are things that I take with so much, I hold these things with so much weight, that when somebody says yes to change their life and empower and really take responsibility for not only their health, but their finances, their community, their thoughts, their activities, I want them to look to me and say, I've seen that you've been consistent with this. I need a way out. I need some help. Can you help me? But that only comes through doing this consistently and showing up every day. And then getting back to the very first question that we all asked ourselves: what are we trying to accomplish? Guys, you all are hope bearers. You are people that are bringing people light. You are people that are bringing, empowerment in an age where we've never needed it more, truly. And so in that, there are all these tools. We have Freedom Living Team. We have Freedom Living Team Business. We have isogenicshealth.net. We have the Penny app. Oh my goodness. Comment in the chats if you are loving the Penny app as much as I am, because that has brought so much structure into my day and into my week. I can't even tell you. I truly cannot even tell you. It's remarkable. And if you haven't yet, gotten that, really get that into yourselves, because it will change your business. Now, here's what I want to conclude with. We are having an event in 2 weeks. I believe I just saw Kathy post about it. It's going to be an ISA mastery training. An ISA Life Mastery Training. It's going to be September 12th from 11 a.m. Eastern to 2:30. You're going to have people like Emily Vavra, Michael Klaus, Lynn Hagedorn Klaus, Michael's wife, Tyler Dickerhoof, Kathy Savage. Guys, and it's going to be, we're going high level and we're going deep. So if you and people in your organization, people who have just started, this is going to be the perfect thing to plug them into. It's going to be 3.5 hours. It's going to be brief. It's going to be power packed. And we're going to be talking about how this next wave of Isagenix and Isagenix 2.0 is really going to, lock in and take roots. At the end of this year, you know, as we are heading into this end of this year and into 2021, it's going to be phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. You can copy the picture from Freedom Living Team Business or Start or Isagenix Business, wherever it was posted, and share it with your teams because it's going to be phenomenal. But as we leave this call tonight, ask yourself these questions. And hopefully this will add more direction. Hopefully this will add more clarity. Hopefully this will allow you to think in your lane of what you need to do when you show up tomorrow morning or this evening as you conclude your week to say, what am I trying to accomplish in my life, in my Isagenix business? And how do I do it in reflection with these 6 things below? I'm so excited. I'm so excited for where we're at because I see this growth. I see this hunger within Freedom Living Team right now of saying, okay, maybe I've been doing this for a month. Maybe I've been doing this for 3 months, but this is it. This is my time. And I want to just implore and exhort and encourage all of you that this can be filled with ease. This can be filled with simplicity. This can be filled with structure so that it doesn't have to feel like it's taking over your whole world. It absolutely can and should feel that way. So with that, we can sign off. I hope this has been helpful, and I'm going to post a recording right after this for those who have not been on. I'm so grateful for all of you. I'm grateful for the growth that we're all pursuing together, that Freedom Living Team is pursuing together. We are those that pursue growth. We aren't those that cut the corners. We aren't those that find the diluted, watered down version. No, we want to go to new places and to new heights, and we want to take others with us. So I love you all so much. Share this call where you need, and if you have any questions or you want to reflect any of this stuff off with me, shoot me a text or a message on Facebook, or just post what you learned from the call on Freedom Living Team. My goodness, we have tools, we have resources, and our community is one of our best. So love you guys. Have an amazing night. We'll see you next week.